School is named after Kristen McCall, one of the 7 astronauts to die from the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion in 1986. Ronald McNair unfortunately died the same way. Ronald McNair was an MIT-trained physicist. He specialized in laser research before he decided to join NASA in the 1970s. He then went to become the second African American to reach space in 1984.
Not many people believed in her in becoming a human computer, and this is because people didn't believe that women or an African American could be so good with math. So when they later realized that she was fixing computers, even though she wasn't supposed to, they went to go check if she did it right, and turns out she did.
That's not where he stopped though. Dean's research at IBM helped change the accessibility and power of a personal computer. His work led to the development of the color PC monitor, and in 1999, Dean led a team of engineers at IBM, Austin, Texas, lab to create the first gigahertz chip, a revolutionary piece of technology that is able to do a billion calculations in just a second.
May got an award of Elizabeth Blackwell Medal. One of her quotes are, "The best ways to make dreams come true is to wake up."
The person that I chose for Black History Month is Charles Henry Turner. Charles was a zoologist and was famous discovering insect behaviors. Not only that, but he was the first one to prove that insects can also hear. Charles is also well known for his commitment to civil rights and for his attempts to overcome racial barriers in American community.
I did a lot of research on women who either were the first to do something or the first to invent something. And the one that really caught my eye, her name is Ava DuVernay. And she was the first colored woman to get nominated for Best Picture Oscar. And she was a film director.
Among one of Dorothy's many honors, she had the honor of naming the Dorothy L. Brown Women's Residence at Meharry College in the year of 1970, as well as receiving the Humanitarian Award from the Carnegie Foundation in the year of 1993, and a prestigious Horatio Alger Award in the year of 1994. Oftentimes, Dorothy made it very clear that she was proud to be a role model to young people. She quoted, "Not because I have done so much, but to say to young people that it can be done."
Boykin became very interested in resistors. He started to study and innovate on his own. On June 16th, 1949, he obtained and received a patent for a wire precision resistor. This resistor would later be used in televisions and radios. Then he produced a revolutionary system 2 years later, which was used in World War II, I believe, which could withstand extreme temperatures and pressure changes. It was a cheap device, and it could be handheld.
Starting off with his early life, Neil was born on October 5th, 1958, in Manhattan and grew up around the Bronx. His first development of his interest and love of the stars was at age 9 when he took a trip to the planetarium. There, he had his first ever stargazing moments. And after that, he'd always go up to the rooftops and watch the stars.
World War II then came around, and she witnessed thousands of American soldiers in need of physical therapy as they returned to the United States. Blount spent many hours practicing her and perfecting the ways on how she can help the soldiers while they were coming back to the United States.
So, Alice worked hard to develop a successful treatment for leprosy and went on to create the first injectable leprosy treatment, which used oil from the Chalmuga tree. And this resulted in a highly successful method to work towards curing leprosy, which was later known as the Ball method.
After he finished college, he invented the spectrograph and far ultraviolet camera, which proved the existence of molecular hydrogen in space during a rocket launch. His inventions will also be used on Apollo 16's lunar landing as a moon-based observatory.
Jackson went to Roosevelt Senior High School and graduated in 1964. She was valedictorian of her grade, moving on to MIT next. When Jackson started classes at MIT, she was one of fewer than 20 African American students. She was also the only African American student studying theoretical physics at MIT.
Today we're here to talk about George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was an agricultural scientist and inventor who developed hundreds of things using peanuts, such as flour, paste, and insulation. The reason I'm writing about George Washington Carver is because I found it really interesting that he could come up with so many things for such a small thing. It's remarkable.
One person who really caught my eye was Euphemia Lofton Haynes. She was the first woman to receive a doctoral degree in mathematics. This was very important and very good during that time, because during those times she had to deal with both racial segregation and discrimination towards women.
However, Gladys knew she did not want to be a farmer. She knew that her ticket to freedom was to get an education. So she worked hard and received outstanding grades. Gladys grew up in a school that was separated from the white schools, with separate buses, and received hand-me-down items from the white schools. For example, they got the old books while the white schools got the new books, but all of that made them work harder and stay motivated.
The person I decided to learn about for Black History Month was Howard P. Grant. He was born in 1925. He was the first Black graduate of the University of California, Berkeley College of Engineering. He went on to become the first Black engineer for the city and county of San Francisco, where he addressed water engineering issues